again, and welcome to Ready to Heal. I'm your host, Betsy Sawyer Galen, and my guest today is Maryanne Savino. She has a number of titles. She is a sonic alchemist, an empathic channel, a ritual temple dancer, a womb priestess. Is there anything I'm leaving out?
Chantress.
A chantress.
It's all connected.
It's all in there, yeah. And it's so cool what you do. So I'm looking forward to hearing about it. But first, I want to hear just a little bit about yourself and just how did you get into this whole area?
Well, thank you for having me, Betsy. I'm looking forward to sharing all my interesting experiences. I had been studying a ritual temple dance from Hawaii that was an ancient dance. It's really an ancient dance from thousands of years ago, and it holds...
Where would you learn such a thing?
Well, I started here in New York, and then I went to Hawaii, and it was...
Who was teaching a 100-year-old Hawaiian dance?
Oh, it's actually thousands of years old. Well, it comes from a lineage line from the island of Kauai. And it was actually the foundation practice for Hawaiian temple bodywork.
Ah.
But it's not just for the bodywork, because the gifts that come from it are truly amazing, and that's what brought me to sound. Because it holds a geometry to it, it has a very powerful infinity symbol in the actual movements. After about maybe close to 2 years of studying this practice, I was in class one evening. We were in a circle, and out of nowhere came these tonal sounds, and I didn't know what I was doing or why I was doing it. And later on, some woman from the class came over to me and said, "You had the most beautiful tones that you were expressing." I said, "I don't even know what that is. Well, what do you mean?" I just thought I was singing. And the feeling that came through is what really stuck with me. It wasn't so much the audible sound, because you're not just taking it in with the audible sound. It's really a feeling. And I started to get very excited about that feeling that would come through. And I realized, wow, is this coming outside of myself or is it inside? And again, the dance, remember, is an infinity symbol. Right. So I realized, well, I think it's both. I think it's coming from the cosmic forces, the earth, and then I'm I guess the vehicle or the bridge for these frequencies to connect through my body.
So this was kind of, are you a dancer originally? Were you coming to this for dance, or were you coming to it for healing?
Well,
or what's the...
that was the very first temple dance I studied. I didn't even know I was coming into it. I was a massage therapist at the time, and I started doing my massage routine one day, and out of nowhere I started finding my arms doing these strange movements, and I didn't know why, and my client said, "Wow, that was incredible. What did you do?" I said, "I don't know." And then I was talking about it to a friend, and my boss overheard me and said, "I know a woman that teaches a Hawaiian dance like that." And I said, "Oh, you have to connect me with her." And that's how. But, again, it was kismet, because the way it all came together.
Right.
It was just, amazing.
And so were you were singing along with the song that you were dancing to, and all of a sudden you just kind of got the...
Well, I began to play around with these movements, but then I met who then became my teacher, Iolani Negrin, and I had a session with her, and I was just bawling my eyes out, because it reached a part of me that I didn't even know existed. And I was trying to get a sense of, what is she doing? I feel all this incredible, I've never had energy move, because most body work is very linear. There was this rounded, flowing, energy, really like a mother energy, because I felt like I was being embraced. And I think a lot of what the sound and movement do, especially the movement and sound that I express and work with, is about that return to the mother energy, that feminine force that we've lost connection with. And it's not just for women, it's for men too. It's all about the womb vibration of the creational energy, and men and women both come from the womb. We're in our mother's wombs for 9 months before we come out. And again, there's that energy of being in this sacred space, and then you're birthed into life. And I feel that with sound frequency and dance movement, this is the vehicle for me. I think that there's such a variety of ways to work with it. But I think what happens is when you find that essence from it, it awakens something in you, your own innate healing. I don't feel like I'm the one doing the healing when I'm working with a client. It's really about me helping them tap into their own innate intelligence, because we all have it within us. Mm-hmm. And when we tap into it, and I call myself a facilitator, somebody who helps somebody to tap into their own wisdom, their own frequency, because we all have our own unique vibration.
Right.
And sound vibration and movement, it's ancient. I mean, the shaman, and it's a very primitive experience that in ancient times, that was the medicine. But besides herbal medicine, sound and dance, chanting, drumming, flute, whatever, didgeridoo, and of course the dance were medicine. This is what medicine was. And then, of course, we came into allopathic medicine, and of course, they both have their place. I do believe in that. I had an experience of using both when I had been diagnosed with cancer many years ago. It was almost 12 years ago now. And was a big shock for me because I was always such a health-conscious person. And I thought, wait a second, that can't be. And I was out of surgery using tuning forks and toning. I had cancer in my right leg, in my right thigh. And I was able to go home the next day, and I know it was a result of the sound frequency, because they opened me up, and I was under for a long time. I shouldn't have come out that quick.
Wow.
So,
and you were doing the sound, the toning and stuff.
Well, I prepared for it.
After?
I prepared for it before. But when I came out of surgery, I had tuning forks with me, and I was playing around, and the nurses kept coming in looking at me like I'm completely off the wall and thinking, my God, this woman needs a psych ward. But I was explaining a little bit to them, and I then started using my voice. And actually, even before the surgery, I had been using a crystal ball. I had a pretty large-sized tumor. I felt a lot of heat coming from it. I started using metal bowls and a crystal ball right on top of it with tuning forks and directing my voice into the area. By the day of the surgery, the heat was gone and it was starting to get cold. And I swear, it could have been my imagination. I don't know for sure. I felt like on some level there was a slight change in the size, even if it was slight. I know something was happening. I did still go for surgery, because I felt just instinctively something told me, just get it out.
Yeah.
And I did receive radiation treatment, but I went through radiation treatment for 7 weeks, and my doctor said, I've never seen anybody go through this much radiation, and you look and sound and feel amazing from what I see of you, whatever you're doing. And then I started to show him. He said, well, keep doing that. Because
and that's unusual. Cancer of the leg, you don't...
No.
I've never heard of that.
No, it was an oddball thing, and coming from me, though, I'm not surprised. So I'm not surprised.
Well, so can you give me a timeline here? I just want to understand, okay, so how long ago was this that you were a massage therapist?
I've been working with sound for over 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And it's taken so many forms. After the cancer experience is when the languages of light, which is a language of the soul, from different star systems, from the earth, from the galaxy. I mean, it could be really, it's just cosmic in every way, universal in every way. That became more activated in me after the cancer, after being initiated by two of my friends, Jody Sirota, who is the founder of Metacenter New York, and Judy Satori, the Sound of Light. And it was the first time, well, it wasn't the first time I heard light language, because I had heard Jody years ago at one of the expos. But with the two of them together, something happened to me. I felt it come right in, and then all of a sudden I started speaking these languages. Now, the tonal frequencies, I think the best way is for me to just express it so you get a sense.
Okay.
There's open vocal tones, there's overtone harmonic, and then there's light language. So an open tone would be something to this extent. It would be... overtone harmonic are simultaneous notes happening at the same time. A lot of the Mongolians and Tuvans in ancient times used this method of voice. It's a little different. I've actually studied with Tuvans, and they called me the California style overtoner.
It's so funny. I heard somebody do that on NPR. Somebody who's like did it their whole life.
And even the Tibetans, they, you know.
It's very. Can you do that?
Yeah.
I have to ask a question about that because
it takes you, I'm already going into an altered state from it. It takes you into other dimensions.
So is that something that you learned to, because there's several tones in there, and how are you doing that with one throat?
I'm going to explain what happened. The night in the class when I was doing these open tones, which was the first one I did, I was so excited. I didn't know what it was, and I had to know. I'm like, oh my God, I have to know what this is. So I started researching. And even though, you know, I didn't know what it was, I found a few people online. I actually wound up taking some courses. Baird Hersey was somebody who I studied with, Chloe Goodchild, Jill Peirce, Tom Kenyon, who's very well known. They're all well known. David Hikes was the teacher of Baird Hersey. I took one workshop with him. But what was interesting is before I began studying with any of them, the open tones, which I didn't study, they just came out, all of a sudden started to take another road into these overtone harmonics. I had no idea. I was trying to look in the mirror with a flashlight. It was hysterical because I'm like, wait a minute. Where did that sound come from? And it's because I was working on a client, a friend actually. She says, "Do you have two other people in here making sounds with you? Because I hear it here and there." I said, "No, and I have no idea how I'm doing this."
Yeah.
When I tapped in and asked, I asked Spirit, "What is this?" "Oh, this is who you are without the form. You are the sound vibration. You are the dance. You are the light." And then, of course, languages of light, which I feel is really a soul, heart language of the universe. It's embedded in everything. It holds light codes and geometries and can really be effective with health. I'll just speak them. And they come out. I feel that they're not just only being channeled. I feel that they are within us. And sometimes the channeled vibration of spirit, of star systems, of the earth, of whatever we connect to, archangels, master guides, it's infinite and goes back to the dance of the infinity. You know, no beginning, no end. Everything is connected in the universe within us. We are the universe in physical form. The stars, everything is within us. So the languages... Pleiadian, Sirius, Andromeda, Arcturus, Sirius, Lyra, Alpha Centauri. There's many different star systems that these come from. I'm hearing that this is going to be Pleiadian, Arcturus, maybe a little Andromeda. Moro miaro huria conoscere shamyara ontoro piria moro hiya huri ansara shamyara kotoro piara huru sutiaro kotoro maharia mai e aro hui ankara shamyara kotoro mia a arebia asaramola a karitara Amakataya larasham karaze sarashesoriata. Akatara kuria asarama mara usaya. alal eriana. Eriamo hui anaroma. Onnare amorum meae. Horom meane ana. Un karashyamyara un sirija. Alakatara oroma. Araka, this is for healing and for peace. It's an actual transmission of the Divine Mother. Oriamaro koroya. Oriama karatoria pa ala. To open our hearts, to heal the wounds, our own wounds, wounds of the world, wounds of the universe. Omara oroko. Arama, to embrace the wounds. Aramoro sarajea, akara oro matoro, to return to love, to return to love. Arokoro soria amo alata aka so shata.
Wow, I can feel that vibration in my body like Reiki, and it just reminded me of, and this is something like, I'm sure you started to do this and it became like, you just became accustomed to it, but when you started you were like, oh, what is this?
Yes, oh, I had to know what it was, because I thought, wait a minute, this is something that feels familiar, yet I don't remember hearing it in this lifetime, so what is this? It's ancient codes from other lifetimes, but I also feel because time is, everything is connected. It could be past life, this life, future life. It's all connected anyway. There's no separation. But I do feel that these frequencies, they are codes of light, of color, sound. They can be created in drawing them and writing them and dancing them and speaking them and singing them. They have a powerful effect on our physiology.
Yeah. It reminds me about what they say, and I've never seen it done, but that as a person's singing tone could shatter glass.
Yes.
That's definitely a vibratory thing. And have you ever seen that demonstrated? And
I think I saw something on a video with cymatics, which is also where they take these substances. It could be sand or just different, even liquids of some kind, and with harmonious sound create these geometrical patterns like mandalas. They're it's incredible.
That sounds very cool. But that's an example of something that in mainstream life you hear about, it's real, you don't see it, but it's just another illustration of what the potential is of a voice, and what it can actually do to matter.
Absolutely, and that's going to shift. Imagine if we have these negative programs in our heads and our thought processes and just imprints of trauma from not only this lifetime but maybe other lifetimes that are still in the energy field. That sound vibration that's harmonious and combined with dance movement, you have the opportunity to shift and raise and expand consciousness to really, with what I do in a session with vocal alchemy, is something I created, where I tune into the person's frequency and look for patterns in the energy field, like what's out of balance and how can I help this person. I ask Spirit, please show me how I can help this individual tap into their own innate intelligence. I'm not the one doing the healing. I am the vessel, the vehicle. So I listen and feel and look for patterns of imbalance, and then I go directly in with my voice. Sometimes I'll use other instruments, crystal bowls. I'll go right into the area with the frequency and ask it. It's what I call entrainment, where you take a lower vibration and bring it up to the higher vibration. It really has no choice but to meet the higher frequency and come in and birth together and merge. So that you take that lower frequency that's keeping you stuck in patterns of negativity that could create illness. and you bring that up and you start to see, wait a minute, this can take another form. I don't have to carry around this trauma anymore.
So how do you sense this in a person's field?
Well, being an empath, I'm very super sensitive. And I'll ask questions. I'll ask them, you know, is there something specific you want to work on? The first thing I want them to come in with is an intention, because intention, this is very important, intention creates. So when you come in with a clear intention, combining it with sound vibration or movement or drumming, whatever it is, equals healing. We have to come in with a clear intention that, you know, make the commitment that I want to heal this. We have that ability in us. So tapping into somebody's imbalance and saying, okay, are you ready to heal? Are you ready to, is there a message here? Is there something that needs to be, you know, expressed to help you heal this? Like everyone is different and every session is different. No two are alike. So it definitely starts with a clear intention, always. That's the most important. And I get out of the way. I'm not the one doing the healing. You know, I believe, I'll speak for myself, but I always get a nod of agreement. We are God consciousness, sound vibration, you know, the illumination of the universe, the star seed in a human form. We came to the earth to have this incredible human experience, which is not always so easy. We have our challenges here on the earth plane because of the density. Mm-hmm. We come from a much lighter frequency out in the universe, but when we come into a form, we have to really be able to hold that energy, and sometimes it could be very challenging. So coming into this human form and having this direct experience, the soul gets to have these sensory experiences through sound, through feeling, through touch, through scent, through taste. It doesn't have that when it's only in spirit form. It comes into a form of a human or an animal or a plant.
Let me ask you a question. So if somebody, like, how would somebody know that they need to see you? What kind of stuff would you treat generally?
Well, a lot of times people are drawn because they feel a resonance, and resonance is to return to that sound within, the harmony. We are made of harmony and really God source energy, but we forget. And so when we go through something like cancer, it's just helping us remember who we really are. When you have a challenge, I try to now see it as, it's not wrong, it's not bad, it's part of what my soul chose to grow. I'm going to make the best of this. It's about transforming, activating, integrating, and transforming is really what I like to look at. People will come to me because maybe perhaps they feel a strong resonance about what I spoke about, or they just feel called. I treat anything from, you know, a common cold to cancer, and it really depends on even working with relationship issues, really healing the core wound imprints, which don't start, or I should say they begin most of the time in our mother's womb. Whatever's going on with the mother and father, the baby is in that frequency. It's very important for a woman when she is carrying to be mindful and clear and take care of herself, not just on the physical level, but even spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Because the baby is getting that. I found out things about my own gestation and being in my mother's womb that explained why all these things happened to me with the cancer. I was also bedridden with fibromyalgia, had no energy. Sound frequency clears out those distortions. Now, there are layers of distortions and imprints. I'm not saying if you do one session, it's going to be gone forever. It's not that simple, but there's so many possibilities. And as long as there's possibilities, I always have hope.
And so tell me a little bit about, we started talking at first about the cancer that you dealt with yourself. Tell me how you worked with that. And did you have anybody else working with you too? Or?
Yes. I don't have scientific evidence, but I'm going to trust my instincts. I believe that cancer was a wake-up call for me. It was also related to a very serious core wound imprint that I received as a child with my father's death. I was 2 years old. My father was murdered.
Oh.
And even though I had gone through many years of psychotherapy and used other modalities, and they definitely helped, something was still going on there. And when I got that diagnosis, I don't have time to go into all the details, but in Hawaiian body mapping, the area that I had the cancer was right about the age that I was about to turn 40. I was 39, and that was the age my father was when he was killed. So we know, and the right leg and the thigh is childhood trauma, and the right side is the father, the masculine. Right there. That's the short story of it. I know in my heart and soul that this was an opportunity for me to transform, and I would never have transformed without the help of cancer. It helped me to honor myself, to love myself, to accept all of me, even the shadow aspects, the parts I denied. That was the piece. That was the shadow in me that I denied and turned to cancer. That's my experience. I'm not going to say that for everybody, but that was my experience. And I have no doubt.
And did you work with other sound healers at that
I
point
worked
too,
with a couple of energy healing practitioners. In my recovery, I worked more with sound healing practitioners because I was working on myself with the sound vibration, and I think that's what I needed to do. That was my initiation into the next level. But I did, of course, afterwards, I absolutely started to work with other people because I was also eager to know how does this work? And everybody's so unique, and we all have our own unique gifts. We all have our own sonic signature. And so it's really wonderful to, part of the lesson was to surrender. I was very much in a masculine energy, very action-oriented, doing, busy, keep going. And I needed to stop that. I needed to return to the feminine, the mother energy of being nurtured and loved and held. And to even take the wound and stop avoiding and running from it and saying, wait a second, you need my love. You need my attention, so here I am.
We have to stop now. I'm so sorry, but will you come back and discuss this
I
further?
absolutely will. And my website is www.sacreddanceandsound.com. I'm in the New York City, Manhattan area. I teach classes and I offer private sessions, and I just really love to share these gifts of sound and dance.
Terrific. So we will continue this conversation.
Absolutely.
Thanks again for joining us on
Thank
Ready to
you.
Heal. This is Betsy Sawyer Galen. See you next time.